have two of you?
Hey guys. How's it going? Good. You're so quiet. Okay. All right. Well, make sure you are still 6 feet apart or outside of punching range. If you are next to somebody and you can punch them, please do so they move away from you. I say that as kind of a joke, but seriously, we did have a couple of people last week said, "Hey, I want to keep coming, but either myself or someone in my family, if we get it, it's going to be bad news." So we want as many people to be here as possible. So if you keep your mask on the whole time, thank you. That would be really good. Okay, throughout the night, whether you guys are communicating with us or you're on the live stream, this is the number that we would like you to text. Right here, 509-730-5654. And in just a minute, I'm going to have tonight's special guest come and join us, and he'll be looking at those things. He didn't know that, but you have to be like a tech genius. Fortunately tonight, we have a tech genius, so that's good. The church is something every year that we participate in is something called Operation Christmas Child. How many of you in your family has done one of these shoe boxes before? Okay, if you don't have your hand up, look at one of the people who raised their hand, or just listen to this. This is such a cool thing. These boxes, you get a shoe box, you get to fill it with all sorts of fun toys, like they'll say this is for a 6-year-old boy or a 10-year-old girl or whatever. And you get to buy the stuff and put the stuff in a shoebox so that these kids in these other countries get a gift for Christmas. A lot of times they don't have anything all year long. And it's just a fantastic way to be the hands and feet of Jesus, to love people. And you don't always know exactly where it goes, but it definitely does go. A lot of times they send these boxes into hurting areas or places that just could use some extra love. And so we do that. We encourage you to do that. But beyond that team, because of COVID, they need some extra help this year. So people can't come in and just drop off their boxes whenever they want. So we have collection times during the week. And coming up in a couple of weeks, we've got this opportunity for you students to come. And what you'll do is you'll go out to the car and take the box from the people in the car, and then walk it over and put it on a pallet so that we can box up all of those and send them out. So if you're interested in that, please text that number and let me know, and just say your name. If you haven't texted me before, your name, and I want to be part of the shoebox team. Okay? Cool. Any birthdays this last week? I see a finger pointing.
Lily's birthday's tomorrow.
Lily, tomorrow? Is that, I can't, your face is covered, so I can't see if you're smiling or. Is it tomorrow? Yay. How old? 14. Oh my goodness. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? No. Okay. We are going to sing to Lily. Happy birthday. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lily. Happy birthday to you. Hey. All right. Well, tonight I would like to I'd like you to know my good friend, Mr. Anthony Kaufman. Please welcome to the stage. Brother?
Yeah.
Have a seat.
Can I take off my mask?
Yeah, you bet.
Oh, I'm doing it, buddy.
I kind of forgot during announcements. I feel like a noob. All right.
How are we doing?
So, raise your hand if you know Mr. Kaufman.
I'm looking for those hands.
See a few kids.
I feel like there's
others.
more out there. Yeah, okay.
All right. So you can scoot in a little closer if you
closer.
want.
Okay,
And
I do.
these coming in, so see, people are like, I would love to be part of Operation Christmas Child right there. See that? So,
Nice.
Mr. Goen, yeah. Okay.
Andrew Goen. I don't.
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
He was here last week and he didn't come back. So
Harsh. Okay, well.
Yeah, I think he had a good time.
Did the best you could.
Not sure.
Oh, hey,
So-
that's my wife.
Yeah. Oh, see, the last time I had, not the last time, the time before last,
Yeah.
we had Ann Harrison, and Chris was flirting with her while up here.
Inappropriate,
But the funny
but
thing
okay,
was,
yeah.
I'm reading those texts, and the statements that were supposed to go to her, I was reading, and I felt really uncomfortable. So,
Dicey.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good. Emily?
I mean, I think Chris likes me, but it's probably not as much.
Lay it
as,
on me.
yeah.
All right.
So awesome. Well, so as we were getting ready for the night, I said, "Is there any chance that you like hot food?" Because previously we've had people up here and they said yes, and then it didn't work out so
It's
well.
probably going to be the same
Yeah,
tonight.
I've
So
heard
let's go
rumor
for it.
that Nate's watching on YouTube right now,
Could be.
and so if he's in the room, I'm gonna like call him up and torture him. I really kind of want to do that with somebody else. But here's the thing. So when we did the hot sauce challenge, did you watch that episode?
I think so.
Okay.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
Okay. We went up to like, I think it was 2.4 million on the Scoville scale,
Okay,
starting
yeah.
at 300.
That's
So
super
it was
scary.
like really water and then worked up to
Yeah,
2.4. And then that was, we actually didn't publish that video yet because we've got like all these camera angles and everything, and we were just like figuring out how to edit, and it's difficult.
Too much.
So I still
snot. How
haven't
do you edit
I still
that?
haven't uploaded that video.
Okay.
But anyway, the end of the night we did this special chocolate that was 9 million, and that
Okay.
was pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
really worried about
tonight what I
Okay.
have is called the Death Nut
I
Challenge.
want to see it.
Right here, it's pretty scary looking. Death Nut Challenge.
I'm super scared right now.
Yep. And we start out at the mild level.
Okay.
Does it say? Does it say? It doesn't say what the lower ones are. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we end at 13 million.
Okay, that sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It does sound like a lot. Yeah,
Right.
it does. Sounds like a lot. And so I thought maybe we'd do this first.
That
so
sounds right.
that
So I'll just
we'll
be,
have
I'll just
hopefully
be destroyed for the rest of the evening.
hopefully the
Okay.
rest of the night, either the pain is going to continue and it'll be really hilarious, or maybe the pain will subside.
Okay.
And
All right, I've got my
and
water. I've got my water here.
so there you go. Okay. So are you ready for this? What we're going to do, so the way this is supposed to go is you wait a minute in between each one. So you don't just
Okay.
like slam them all down. You get to
That makes
feel
sense.
each
Okay.
one. And in between, see, I'm trying my my Hot Ones investigative.
Yeah, yeah,
The
I
thing
like
about that show is the
Yeah.
guy's he's got really great questions. And so I ordered some of the actual hot sauces from the show.
Oh man, I really want to try this. Okay.
So I thought, hey, we'll have you come back since you're the only one willing to
okay.
eat hot sauce.
Absolutely.
None of the staff, they like run away when I make eye contact. So,
That's right.
so we'll do
All
that
right.
next time. But we'll start with this. I actually have
Let's do it.
2 more of these boxes, but I thought 13 million sounds kind of scary.
I don't know that we'll need any more.
So I
think that'll
kind
be
of
enough.
thought that we would just like split these.
Okay,
This
let's do
is
it.
supposed to be for one person, but we're going to divide it between
I
us.
think that sounds right. Let's do that. Yep.
I'm hoping that we'll have something intelligent to say for the rest of the evening. You know, our chances are really pretty low that that'll happen, but even lower if we
Less.
have our faces
Less.
on fire.
Now.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
let's crack them open.
All right. So here we go. This is Getting Started Carolina Reaper chocolate peppers.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm getting that pronunciation
I
correct.
think that's right.
Yeah. Now I've heard that if you touch this, you die.
Don't
Remember
touch your face.
to.
I've watched.
This isn't a very COVID smart way to do it.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll do that. Okay. So
Okay,
what
that's
kinda,
2, so we'll do 3 and 3.
okay. What kind of nuts are these?
These are what I just read. These are Carolina. Oh, they're peanuts. You don't have a
Peanuts.
peanut allergy, do you? Carolina Reaper and chocolate Bhutla. Bhutla.
Got
Could
it.
be Butla.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. All right, here we go. Hot right away. Kind of sweet.
Oh man, this is the lowest. Oh man,
Where's Nate? He's just so fun to watch.
I may be in serious trouble here.
That's the lowest, yeah.
Okay.
How you
I'm
feeling?
doing fine. I'm doing fine.
But you're worried about the future.
But yeah, that was hotter than I expected. I thought they'd give me like a softball to start with.
I really like the
That's a
flavor of
little
that,
spicier.
to tell you the
It's
truth.
good.
Okay, tell us about a dating experience that you would like to erase from your life.
Oh man, just launching in to the heavy questions. A dating experience that I would like to erase from my life. Okay. In college, we had this thing at George Fox University where I went. It was called Roomies. And the thing was that your roommate got to ask. Yeah, Caleb knows about this. Your roommate got to ask somebody to go on a date for you, and you asked for them. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, right.
That sounds like
And
torture.
so what you would do is, this was back in the days before we had the internet, but it wasn't quite as used as much. So we had like a physical Bruin directory of like all of the people. And so what you did was you looked in there and found who you considered to be the hottest girl on campus, and then you had your roommate ask that person. So that's what I did. And it turns out she was beautiful. Not a very fun date though. And it was just, we didn't really click at all, and we went to this terrible restaurant, which was
You have like two
insult to
choices
injury.
in
So
in
it
your
was
town.
bad.
Yeah.
I won't tell you her name. She may be watching right now.
Could be. You have water coming from your eyes.
I know.
This is like a terrifying experience
I
for
know.
you.
I'm scared.
The dating experience. That's what you're crying about, right?
That is right.
Yeah.
It still hurts after all these years.
Your wife is commenting. She's like, "Tell me about that." No,
She knows.
She knew.
She knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She went to George Fox as well.
she did. Yeah. All right. That was one. You ready for two?
Not really.
Okay. This is now warming up. That was getting started. This is warming up.
I am going
This
to
is
die.
Carolina Reaper and ghost peppers.
That sounds fine.
I think that our last thing was finished with.
Okay, so you're going to have to divide one in half. All right, I'm just going to launch into the water right away.
This is going to launch out into the audience and kill somebody.
Yeah, it'll hit them like right in the eye.
Okay.
Okay.
So 1, 2.
I don't know, man.
gonna
I
take these.
think
Yeah,
that sounds
green.
right.
All
Okay,
right, here we go.
here we go.
All right. Nothing at first.
That's the ghost pepper, I think. And then it lowers the boom on you.
Still nothing.
That's spicy.
You got it? You're feeling it?
Yeah, for sure. And that's a rock up here. My wife is telling me not to rub my face.
Do what?
Admit it, you're just popping chocolates.
Popping chocolates, yeah, all week long. Hey, 9 million. That's what I put on my cereal.
All right, that was hot. I
Okay.
feel like basically about the same as the first time though.
I think probably that's what happened. Is the first one was a shock. The second
Water
one
again.
doesn't feel it. Okay.
I'm crying up here.
What would your wife say is your most annoying trait?
Oh,
She can actually tell us, but
watching.
I'd like to hear what you think she would say is your most annoying trait.
That's a good question. What would my wife say is my most annoying trait? What do we disagree about the most? I think she would say, I'm kind of a perfectionist about food. And so, make the water last. Yeah, thank you, honey. I'm kind of a perfectionist about food, and so I think she finds it kind of annoying that I have to have my food, even if it's just like a weeknight meal, I have to have it just so, I want
Okay.
the perfect list of ingredients and, everything to be just right. She's annoyed by that.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's right. Is that right, kids? A little help?
This is the passcode right here. As a programmer, you'd really appreciate
That
that.
web of security
Well,
you have.
I had to make it memorable for my guest hosts,
Okay.
which is usually Nate. So,
That's fair.
okay.
This is super hot, so hot.
I feel like that was
There are
kind of
three
that
left.
question wasn't that good. So, what about just some pet peeves, just like in general? That's
That
what it's
she
trying to
has
get
of
at,
me?
at things
That she has for
bug
me.
you. That does have a lingering. Like I feel like my tongue is going a little numb.
Yeah, this is really hot. Let's see. I brought Kleenex. Just in case.
The camera doesn't show it. so
Overcome with
it's fine,
emotion.
yeah.
What else would she say is my, pet peeve? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Or my pet peeve or her pet peeve? of
No,
me?
your pet peeve. I feel like the mic level got changed.
I leaned in a little bit. My pet peeve. I can tell you my pet peeve of her.
I don't think that's a good idea.
That's a bad idea. Okay. Let's see.
Okay, like so some of mine are people
Yep.
chewing with their mouth open.
Okay.
That gets me.
That's annoying.
One thing, because I grew up doing a lot of theater, people talking during performances. I'm not like, not right now, right? But like TV, movies, people that talk during the TV show or the movie really bug me.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
You
kind
wouldn't
of,
want to come over to my house, just FYI.
people
My
constantly
children are-
talk. People raised like around TVs, I don't think they get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a pet peeve. Gosh, I'm trying to think what really annoys me. My children not putting their clothes away. I'm super annoyed by that.
Hypothetically
The
speaking.
closet is right here, and your jacket is right here. What's wrong with this picture?
Okay, all right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Are you okay? We're at
No,
3.
no, not at all.
It's getting real.
All right, I'm dead.
That was warm up. This is getting
dead.
real. Carolina Reaper, 7-pot brain strain peppers.
This is such a terrible idea. Why did I say I wanted to do this?
You said you liked hot food.
Turns out not.
I wonder if the box actually has the Scovilles on it. So we're gonna have to do the same thing, right?
No. There's
No,
two
it's
and
2
two.
and 2. Yeah, that's math for you. Okay,
Oh man.
are you ready?
Not really.
Here we go. This is delicious to start.
My taste buds have been just,
Fried?
scorched already. So
Caution, extremely hot.
yeah, it's hot. It's hot.
Reminds me of a shirt I used to have in college.
Where's your wife?
That was a long time ago. though.
Okay.
Yeah, we're following the rules. Oh, you're not supposed to drink water, but that's right.
You know what? I have some choice words for whoever invented that rule.
Okay, the ghost peppers, they sneak in, so about halfway through the
Yeah, I know
conversation,
this is gonna-
I'm like,
I'm gonna hate myself.
my breath
Okay.
feels like it could be ignited.
Yep.
Okay, number 3. If you have a tattoo, can you show it to us?
Yep.
Why did you get it, and what does it mean?
Okay. This is an interesting story. I don't know if I have time for the whole story. It's not
Just the
okay.
one that you can show.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this right here. You guys see that? Tattoo.
Put it up in
And
front.
another one on my other ankle, right here. You guys see that? No. All right. It's the same basically as the other tattoo. It's not a butterfly this time.
Your flexibility could use some work.
It definitely could.
Oh, perfect. Now it's just.
There it is.
You're not
Right
showing
there.
anything. Oh, okay.
Right there.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Prison
Oh,
dates,
man,
right?
it's super hot. All right, so those are 2 dates to remind me of something that God did in my life that I didn't want to forget. And I can go on. Do you want me to tell that whole story?
So I don't know. I haven't ever heard the whole
been a
story.
long
You've
story.
said that much before, and it sounds like it's a whole story. So you
It's a
tell
long
me.
thing.
Is it-
It's a bit of a long thing. One of my kids was sick, and it was a year and a day period that God really worked on me through that. Taught me about prayer. Taught me about unanswered prayer, because it was the first time that I'd really like. You guys ever laid on your face before God and prayed for something? I was doing that, and God, I didn't feel like He was answering, and because He wasn't answering, He was not doing what I asked Him to do, and never had anything in my life that I wanted that badly, and but through that, it was that period of a year and a day. There's a year when I found out one of my kids was sick, and a year and 1 day later that I found out that he was healed. It was that process that God worked on me during that time, and so I wanted to remember that. I wanted a memento about that. There's a reason it's on my ankle. I think that's a story for another time.
Okay. Wow.
So 2 dates.
That's awesome.
Do you want me to show you my other?
No, please.
Okay.
Just the ones that you
Just
can
those
show.
2. Okay, got it.
Very emotional story for you. I can
It
see.
is. I'm tearing up right now. The waterworks.
So the question is, can we go on? You think you can do more?
I don't want to do more, but I've watched that TV show a lot, and I'm like, I really judge the people who don't go on.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
gotta
people
go.
stop?
Jim Gaffigan stopped. I'll just throw him right under the bus.
Okay, sure. Everybody knows what that is.
I don't want to be like Jim Gaffigan.
Okay, the pain sets in.
All right.
I'm with you. The first one from going from nothing to mild was the biggest jump.
That was the big hurdle.
Everything has been incremental up to this point. So
like
this
having children
is,
all the way.
before we've done 1 Carolina Reaper, this is 2X Carolina Reaper and 7-pot Douglas.
Google it. Okay, got it. That sounds bad. This is a cautionary tale for all of you. You think you want to do this. You see people on YouTube doing it. Do not do it.
Okay. You ready? Here we go. Boing.
Oh, you dropped that one. I saw
Yeah,
that.
I saw them before. Man, at first they're so good. It went from mild to mild plus to medium. This is the first hot level.
Yeah. My wife is telling me to stop. No, I'm going to continue.
Just stop. She might be talking to me. Just stop. Are you ready for the question?
I'm ready.
Okay. If you could influence the national curriculum, what is 1 music album, 1 film, and 1 book that you would make as
Dude.
required
Oh, man.
reading, watching, listening?
Super opinionated about this.
Can I get a napkin? For some reason my nose is running. No.
Those are mine. You can't have those.
Okay, book, album, film. Required watching. You know, as a good dad, you've got to like educate your kids. I'm always impressed. I don't think it was me, but I'm always impressed that my kids know these great old songs. Like, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for this piece
Kind
of
of a paper
sandpaper.
towel.
Just in case I need to sand something. You did that on purpose, didn't you? You're like, ow. That's more painful than these peanuts.
Man, that's a good question. I'm just gonna go with my favorite stuff. I don't know.
Sure. That could have been one of those that I could have given you a heads up on, but then you would know what was
Yeah.
coming. And... Did you know that water doesn't actually help?
It does. I feel like it does.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so, man, I'm a huge fan of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Any Lord of the Rings nerds out there,
Yes.
give me a shout out. I really love those. So, I want
So
to
is that
read
the
those.
book or film?
The book.
Book. Way to go. True nerd.
I like the film well enough, but the book is way better.
We had a girl up here last week that not read or seen any of them.
It's okay, you can throw Kaylee in the bus.
Kaylee was under the bus firmly.
Okay. So album. I am a huge fan of bluegrass music. Look at this water bottle. See, skull and banjo crossbones. That's how diehard I am.
This is one of your
So-
mics. One of these.
That's right. And so I would say my favorite album, or an album that I want people to listen to. Anything by a guy named Doc Watson. He's a blind guitar player. Just plays bluegrass music phenomenally. I want you guys to listen to that. Also, film. So I'm kind of a sci-fi nerd, and this is a bit of an obscure movie. It's a little old, but I really like it. It may be inappropriate for young people. I think this is okay.
Perfect. Nobody will know. Yeah.
But there's this movie called Gattaca. It's a sci-fi
Oh,
movie, and it
yes.
explores the idea of kind of like what it would be like if we could control everybody's genes and make people like the perfect people.
Yeah.
And there's this one guy who doesn't have
Don't give it away.
doesn't
It's
have genes.
fantastic. Yeah.
And kind of his story.
Yes.
And it's a good movie.
So I would caution if you're gonna maybe ask parents' permission or look up because I feel
You
like there
definitely
might
should do
be
that.
stuff in there.
There's
It's been long
no-
enough, but it's
there-
such
yeah.
a great film.
It's a good movie. No, nobody gets naked or anything like that. But it's, this is my first time at a youth, speaking in front of youth, so you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know what to say to that, so, okay.
Likewise.
All right, are we ready? This is, we went from heat level hot to heat level stupid.
I feel like I was there
Already?
2 nuts
Okay,
back.
this is the Death Nut. This is
Rah.
what it's named after. This is 2X Carolina Reaper, Morgua, Scorpion,
Morgua. That's just a ridiculous name.
13 million Scoville.
Does anybody want to do this?
I think we have to like sign off on. That's why I get adults.
Michael
that-
Willard, you want to come up here?
He wouldn't even do the lowest one. We're down to just one
You
each.
get the bigger one. You have handled this like a champ. You're like a. You're.
I think
you're
this is
breaking a
2.
sweat.
Look at that.
That's all you, buddy.
All right. Boom. Here we go.
I feel like if I chew like this, maybe it won't help. It's not helping.
The initial taste on these are so good. And I haven't because of my diets. I haven't had peanuts in a while. So that could be no peanut butter or.
I'm glad. I'm happy for you about this. That you're getting no peanuts after so long.
This will be a perfect time to ask you a really deep question. Tell us about a time when you felt the undeniable presence of God.
Okay. It's about my tattoo story a little bit. I was just was in the midst of that. I'm like, God, you've just picked the wrong guy to deal with this. And I can't do this anymore. And I just felt his overwhelming presence, I just felt like he was there, like giving me a hug. I am tearing up a little bit, partially because of the nut.
Yeah.
This is so ridiculously hot. Why would anybody do this? Like, why would somebody make a nut that was like this painful?
Because it's good?
Untrue. Not true at all.
I've heard a rumor that you get to enjoy this heat twice.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Nate said he was praying some very vicious prayers my way last time.
Okay. All right. That was extremely hot. All right, now can I go home, or do I have to do more?
No, we have the whole rest of the night.
Okay, awesome. All right, let's do it.
So that one is to truly feel the heat. You got to wait five minutes to successfully meet the challenge. Can you make it? Do you need to leave
water?
a little bit? No. It's.
'Cause I've been
I mean,
doing
you're
water
not
the whole
supposed to
time.
do that.
I'm doing it.
I do have a couple of things of milk here that you can have. Yeah, in 5 minutes. So in order to kill just a couple of minutes, because we want to have a conversation for the rest of the night, we're going to play a quick game here. This is called Family Feud. So, wow. If you have this phone number, you can participate. These guys are going to pull up the Family Feud game. This is Fall Feud. And so what you guys are going to do, you're going to participate as a family. You're going to answer these questions, okay? So when you get that first slide, we're going to answer this question. The first question, you're going to send in your answers to us.
Face ID. Doesn't recognize me.
No, it's in Sidekick. Caleb, do you have? I'm pretty sure it's on that one. Can you just tell us the question while there? Because I'm not sure they have it loaded up there. Technology problems all night long. Hey, if you want to join the tech team to help us out, I did this last time. Don't snort.
Okay.
Yeah.
No snorting.
No snorting. That's a general good thing to communicate to people. Anyone? Bueller?
What are we waiting for?
We're waiting for these guys to pull up the slide and just the question. It was pulled up, Caleb.
That's embarrassing. I did that
okay.
on camera.
There's no microphones or anything.
There's only one question, is that right?
There should be a bunch of them, but we'll just start with one. You can figure out the rest.
Okay, first question. Have you ever had a nickname? What is it?
Is that in Family Feud? That's in Hot Ones.
That is what is it?
I do have a nickname too.
Yeah, switch over to Fall Feud.
You guys want to hear my nickname? I'll give it to
Yeah, what's your nickname?
you. It is Twon, Twon.
Twan. Okay, give us a second to guess why that would be.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Twan.
Twon.
It's because T. Spell it again.
Twon. Twon.
Twon. I have anybody. We'll just leave the suspense. Here we go. We surveyed 100 people. Can you guess the top answers to these fall-themed questions? Question number 1. Name an animal that you see during the fall season. Now, you guys have the answers. We don't actually have the answers. We've got a Poopsie Flopsy. No. I think that was probably for your name.
That was my nickname.
Yeah.
That's untrue, by the way.
Deer, squirrel. You guys have the answers. Oh, deer. Okay, deer, squirrel, turkey, deer, fox.
Another turkey.
What's the last one? What's the
Bear,
last one?
owl.
Bear, owl, squirrel.
Pheasant.
Oh, we got it. We got a block. Where's the sounds? This is lame. Give him another block just because this is lame. Do it again. All right, next question. What? We want to know the last one. They didn't earn it. But they've only got one block left. Do we got sound yet? Any more guesses? Owl, cat. Emily. Yeah, we definitely said owl many times. Okay, next question. And why isn't the sound working? Name something you need to make a pumpkin pie. Hands.
Hands? True. That's a good point. A pie
I
dish?
mean, I suppose you could pumpkin pie filling. Wait, did somebody say that? Cream, pie crust,
Crust,
flour. Sage? Is that what you said? Sugar.
Sugar. Pumpkin spice mix. Nutmeg. Butter. Butter crust.
Spices,
Delicious.
good, good.
Cinnamon, vanilla extract.
Evaporated milk. Oh, that's a block. Is that evaporated milk block?
Whipped cream.
Eggs. Emily,
She knows too.
she would know.
An oven.
An oven. Way to go, Ty. I love your sense of humor. A pie dish.
Pie dish.
Yes. What was it? Oh, we got it. Hey, all right. Hey, you know what? Since sounds aren't working, you guys just make the sounds for us. They're what? Okay, let's do one more. I don't feel it anymore. Do you feel it?
Oh, I feel it.
Okay, one more. Name something people put on their front porch in the fall. You gotta text it in.
All right.
Wrath. I think that means wreath.
Wrath. Hay ball. Hay ball. What is a hay ball?
It's those round ones, you know?
A ball of hay?
Yeah. It's
I
the
don't know if
newest
I've
thing.
ever seen that. Like
It's
a
easier to
full,
load on the truck. I
like
mean,
a
think of
full
it.
disc of hay.
Squares don't roll that well. So. Yeah. Okay. Hay ball? No.
Hay bale. That's probably true. They do that.
A rug.
A rug.
Hay bale. Oh, it's because it wasn't ball. It's hay bale. Okay. Corn starch? Corn stalk.
Corn stalks.
On your front porch?
For sure.
Okay. Corn. Hey, way to go.
Jack-o'-lanterns. Yep.
We said pumpkins. We didn't say jack-o'-lanterns. Okay. What else? What else? What else? Does kicking the neighbor's cat count? No. No, it doesn't. No. That's a good guess, though.
Worth a shot. We're not gonna let some cheesy sign.
Some cheesy sign. Like cheddar or leaves?
Cornucopia. That sounds right.
Leaves?
Halloween stuff.
No? Leaves? Maybe you don't put them there. They're just there. Do we get it? Scarecrow.
Christmas decorations. Who wrote that?
In the fall, Christmas decorations? Might be jumping the gun a little bit. Okay.
Ghosts.
Ghosts.
That's true.
No. Number 1 and 2. Something people put on their front porch in the fall.
I'm surprised number 1 isn't already been called. You know?
I would have thought pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern would have been up there.
Where have you guys been?
Nobody look at the tech booth and wonder what's going on. Okay. So, besides the obvious, what would the next obvious be?
We've done scarecrow already.
We did say scarecrow, but we also
Skeleton.
said pumpkins.
Lights.
Candles. No, they just see the answers, and when we call it, they... Oh, you mean the computer? Yeah. Pray for our computer. It's needs some healing. And the answer is...
Mums. Those are extremely festive. If you've ever seen them, they're really nice looking. So it's either talking about the flowers or British mothers. One or the other.
We take the British mothers and we put them on the porch.
That's right.
It doubles as something scary
One or the other.
and festive.
That's right.
All right, we're going to move on. Would you like your reward?
Yes.
Congratulations, you made it through the Death Nut Challenge version 2.0.
Good. I feel a little nauseous now,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Death Nut Challenge. Boom. All right,
All right, I did it.
you did it. You ready to come back where the hot sauces that we have are much hotter than that?
I don't know.
I
I'm
think
super
the
scared.
delivery
Can we eat them on
system.
chicken,
You know
though?
what? I'm just not going to do it.
No, I'm yeah.
Yeah. These are actually a little bit more scary than those because these come from the school. It's like the free lunches, you know?
That is scary.
That could actually be cottage cheese. So, okay,
I see.
move this down here. All right.
So occasionally, is this happening to you? Occasionally I'll like swallow and some nut that is still stuck in my teeth like goes down and I experience it again.
No,
Okay, it's bad. It's not good.
but I have wondered. Can I ask you a personal question?
Please do.
Do you occasionally taste your beard? Is it like, does food that you've eaten a while ago, you're kind of like, oh, that's from lunch.
question. Yes. Yes, I do. Yes.
Nice.
So, you know, I can put it in my mouth. So I do that sometimes. I'm like, oh, I got some honey in there earlier. That's still just as delicious now as it was
Nice.
earlier.
So nice. So
that's pretty
jealous.
gross. It's nice.
I've been kind of trying to grow something here since like March,
Okay.
and I just don't have the genetics for it.
All right.
Caleb has been growing his for like 2 days, and he's like all right.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what my goal is that eventually I won't have to wear a mask anymore. I'll just like be able to like put this up and I won't have to carry a mask with me. So
Nice.
everybody's got goals. Hashtag goals.
All right. Well, tonight we are starting a new series called Family Matters. And I'm excited for this conversation. Of course, I'm excited for every conversation. But as we move forward, we just finished a series on the 101, How to Read Your Bible.
Okay.
And this is kind of our next step. So let me start with this question. When you think about the word family, I love that God kind of works this out a lot of times, but the guest that we have, I just was like, hey, you're the perfect person to have here tonight. I feel like you're such a family-oriented person. So when I say the word family, what does that make you think?
What does that make me think?
What do you think about when you hear the word family?
Are you asking me, or are you asking this rhetorically? I've never
Well,
done this before.
it goes a little bit this way, and a little bit this way, and a little bit that way.
Got it.
Yeah.
What does it make me think? Oh man, I think of my kids, for sure. My wife and kids. That's what I think about.
Okay.
You know, and all of the wild times that we have in the Kaufman household.
Tell me about just one of the, like, say, hey, one unbelievable wild time in the Kaufman's house.
Okay, just last night. Just last night. My son.
Does it have anything to do with not putting clothes away? Because I'm not sure I want to hear this story.
A little bit. Okay, so last night, and this happens pretty often. So I have 5 sons, if people don't know. 5 sons and 1 tough daughter. And my daughter does not participate in this ritual that I'm going to tell you about right now. It is called shirtless fight. And basically what you do is you take off your shirt and you fight.
Just your daughter? Okay.
No, not her.
Okay.
Everybody else takes off their shirt
Gotcha.
and fights. And it's a good time. So, I mean, that's not more complicated than that. But Jonathan, my 5-year-old, came up after the shirtless fight. And he's like, I got kicked in the face and I didn't even cry.
I didn't even cry.
And we were like, awesome.
Tonight when you go home and have the shirtless fight, you can be like, I ate peppers. Didn't even cry.
I'll just like breathe on people.
Except for I'm lying.
Yeah, I did.
Because I did.
Absolutely cry.
Would you rather get kicked in the face?
Yes. Yes, I would.
Oh, man.
Shirtless fighting.
Awesome. As you guys
should try it.
participate with the evening, when you think of the word family, what does it make you think of? Some of the crazy stories you have, we'll be able to kind of screen those. Shirtless fighting. Did you come up with that before?
I did. So
she's
very memorable. We're on the same.
She's got like probably about a 15-second delay.
Okay.
So it could have been. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, tell us about a time when you were growing up. So this is like your current family situation. Tell us about a time just growing up, like to give us a little bit of the flavor of your family experience.
My family experience?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I had one brother, and he was 4 years younger than me. So, you know, we had good times, but we also fought a lot, I think.
Like real fight, like wrestling,
No.
or like I'm angry?
We kept our shirts on, for the most part. See, what we did is, you know, we knew that we couldn't punch each other in the face. That would be just right. So we just like hollowed
Shoulders, yeah.
as hard as you could in the shoulder. Does anybody know what I'm talking about there? Okay, so
If somebody's within arm's length of you, show them. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
Give him the old shoulder. Give him the old shoulder punch. So we did that, but we also had some good times. But he also really tried. You know, I was like older brother, easily annoyed. You know, any older easily annoyed.
Any older siblings get easily annoyed in here?
And then he was a younger sibling, and he knew what he could do, and it was super easy. And he would just try to push my buttons, and so it was good.
Okay.
He lives in Korea now, and I don't.
It's hard to punch him now. Yeah. Have you been to visit him?
For sure.
Serious?
Yeah,
That's
super fun.
awesome. That's so cool.
It's good. I'll tell you about it sometime.
Okay. So every family experience is a little bit different. And I think that's one of the things that's hard to kind of set up this conversation because, first of all, it's like, well, okay, so I get how to read your Bible. I get why we're talking about that. But to just say, okay, we're going to spend the next 4 weeks talking about family, that's a bit more of a jump. So if I were to ask you sort of an unfair question, but it's an easy response.
Indeed.
Why would you think that we would be talking about family here tonight?
Why would I think
Yeah.
we would be talking about family?
Yeah, I mean, we're a church, right? So what's the importance of the church talking about family?
Oh man, well I think family is it just really shapes who you are, right? I mean, it just so much of what we come into adulthood with, you know, just comes from our family, both good and bad, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. So it's just a really key, and you know, not only just adulthood, but it also, you know, for the rest of your life, you know, you're still, you know, my brother, even though he lives in Korea, he's still my brother, you know, and I still, you know, really care about him, and so it's just, you know, it's kind of something you carry with you throughout your entire life. Big, important.
Yeah.
Does that sound right? Is that
It does on this side, and I would just take that a little bit further. And one of the reasons that we are a part of a church is because God has invited us into His family.
Cool.
There's so many things that we get to experience that I think God gives us to be like, this is in a tiny way, a way that I want you to show to you what being in my family is like.
Man.
So like
super good.
when you have kids, you grow tremendously. You have the opportunity to grow tremendously. When you get married, you've got a tremendous opportunity to grow. And family, it's a great opportunity. Now, those things are broken, so everything on this side of heaven is like sin's involved, and so you see some successes, you see some failures, but within that, your family, you get such a great opportunity to forgive, to be forgiven,
that's right.
to try and love somebody the very best that you can in the ways that God shows us how to love. I love that we have that we're not just isolated completely from everybody else, but we have some close connections with other people. And this probably isn't true for you because you seem like you've got it pretty nailed down. But for me,
For sure.
I think the people that are closest to you are the hardest to love.
That's interesting.
Now, let me qualify that because that sounds terrible. What I mean is, I think we do a pretty good job at just like being very kind to people on the street corner and behind the cash register and the neighbor.
Yeah.
But people that live inside your house, they see
That's
those
right.
moments where you're like, you are chewing with your mouth open.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You were
that's right.
talking during the movie. I get pretty grumpy when there's, when Mandalorian's on and there's
And they're
some
like,
talking.
Who is that guy? We're like, none of
this-
us know. We're just seeing this for
You're
the
not
first time.
paid
Yeah,
to
I
be
know.
in this show. Like, you're not an actor,
Yeah.
so stop talking.
I know.
Okay. So it's hard to love the people that are closest to us sometimes, and we forget that, like, oh yeah, that's maybe not. I'll admit that it's both ways in that scenario. I could be more gracious. They could also not talk during the TV show. That would be
It's
their
true.
way of
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I think that's right. It's easy to, when somebody when one individual kind of continues to push this button, maybe you'd have more grace for somebody pushing it the first time, but they pushed it
Yeah.
a bunch of times, and
Yeah.
so you're kind of like, I'm done with this.
You see those movies. I can't remember a specific time in our house where it's like you're talking to somebody in the household, and it's and then answer the phone, hello, how are you?
Yeah.
That sort of flip that can happen. That's an interesting dynamic. So because people are broken, there's lots of like personal preferences, and then we could just talk about communication breakdown, right? How you there's so many times, I think I've talked about this before, there's so many times, so in some ways I'm kind of a professional communicator, and so it's like I can communicate just fine. And then when my wife doesn't understand me, I can get really, really frustrated. I'm like, I'm surely I communicated that well.
Sure.
And no, there's so many times where there is a breakdown, the way that she hears things, the way that I said it.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm thinking this, but these words led her to believe that. And so in all of our families, they're all unique, and there's those communication breakdowns and those preferences. And then within that, there's also, do you see within your family the birth order? So like the oldest has some strong tendencies, weaknesses, failures, and the baby. So I was the baby of my family, and by quite a bit, right? And so they were way older than me. And so I really resonate a lot with Josh. He's always picked on. And from my eyes, when I was a kid, I felt like that was unjustified. And now I see it through everybody else's eyes and go like, okay, yeah, I probably did ask for some of that. I didn't feel that way. I didn't know that when I jumped on them, they were going to, turn around and tickle me, but I got hurt in the process, and I thought they were picking on me when really I was asking for it.
That's interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So all of this to say, it's complicated. Families are complicated.
Complex. That's right.
And we want to talk to it about what does God have to say about family. So tonight we're going to look at a passage from John. So if you brought your Bible, I know a lot of you guys don't carry Bibles, but you carry digital devices. There are a few of you that bring a Bible, and that is so fantastic. If you want a physical Bible to open, they're back there, right behind those dudes back there, and you can grab a Bible off the shelf if you like. I like do you like the physical copy? Do you?
I do. So you said I'm a tech guy. As a computer programmer, I didn't bring mine tonight, but I kind of like to unplug from that a little bit. And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
for me, when I am reading my Bible, I like to read the physical. Not that I never read it on here. I do sometimes, but
Yeah.
I like
It's
to.
the convenience, and I appreciate our churches kind of encourage people. Hey, you should bring your Bible
it's
Sunday
good.
morning.
It's good.
And it's so easy to just carry the phone, like, oh yeah, I've got it right
For
here.
sure.
It
Yep.
fits in my pocket way better than my Bible.
That is
Yeah.
true.
This is the small one. I've tried, it doesn't work. Okay, so the book of John and chapter 13 is what we're gonna start with. So before the Passover celebration, Jesus knew that his hour had come to leave this world and return to his Father. In setting up this conversation, it's interesting, as the last series we talked about, hey, every time you read the Bible, you should ask the questions, what does this tell me about God or Jesus?
Yeah.
What does this tell me about, I'm forgetting the sequence. God or
Okay.
Jesus?
Right.
What is it?
Mere people, and what can I
Right, me or people, and then
Okay.
what should I or we do about
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
Can't believe I forgot that. Okay, so what stands out to you about, what does this tell you about Jesus in this verse? Do we have this verse? Will, can you pull up this verse, please? Thank you.
Maybe if I yell at him. Well.
Whoa, that was a little dad voice. Elliot, pull up this verse. Thank you.
I bet your father will.
Okay, so what if we're applying that, how to read your Bible, what would you see stands out? What does this teach us about God or Jesus?
Yeah. You're asking me.
I am.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so it tells us that for one thing, he knew that his hour had come. I think that's, different than me, for instance, because I generally have no idea what's going on. And what's happening, what's about to happen to me, especially significant things in my life. But Jesus clearly was different than me in this way. So that's one thing.
And what do you think that? We sort of get the benefit of the end of the story, because if you read that out of context, you didn't know who Jesus was, and you just picked up a book and flipped this open.
Yeah.
You might be a little confused, like what exactly?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You would know, like that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. That sounds pretty significant.
Yeah. So it's awesome that we get a little picture of that he knew his Father's plan.
Yeah.
He knew why he was here, what the purpose was, and then he also knew that it was drawing to an end. And I really I don't admire it, because I think it'd be terrifying to know actually when you were going to die.
That would be.
But there would be a real peace to it as well, right? To know, like, okay, I've got. If you had a week, like, how would that change your week, right?
It'd be like, you're going to eat these peanuts tonight, and afterwards you will die. So
You might.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is your stomach warm? Can you feel some heat in your stomach?
Yeah. I'm a little scared by that.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to focus on
Yeah. Don't. It doesn't exist.
good.
Yeah. Okay. So the time had come for him to leave the world and go to his Father. One of the things as we continue on in these verses that I think is interesting is the beginning of this chapter sets this up of, I've only got a little bit longer. Okay? If you know that you only have an hour left with your best friends, your closest friends.
Okay.
You think you're going to talk about, like sports,
Probably not.
probably computer programming.
Guessing not.
No,
My
right?
friends,
You're
first
going to
of all, don't
talk.
like to talk about that.
You're
but-
going to maybe a little bit about the glory days, maybe
Sure.
a little bit about hopes and dreams for the future, right? And probably those. I don't know if you ever have those moments. I tend to because I'm dramatic, have
Okay.
those if I'm on my deathbed, like what would I say?
Okay.
Am I the only one? Do you ever?
No, sure. I think about that.
Okay,
Sure.
good.
Uh-huh.
Good. I'm glad you think about.
No, for sure.
So Jesus is definitely he's definitely going into this with as I say I got my last hour with my disciples. I'm going to share some important things. Okay. So he loved his disciples during his ministry on earth, and now he loved them to the very end. It was time for supper, And the devil had already prompted Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had given him authority over everything and that he had come from God and would return to God. So he got up from the table, he took off his robe and wrapped a towel around his waist. He poured water in a basin, and then he began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that he had around him. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You don't understand what I'm doing, but someday you will." Peter protested, "You will never ever wash my feet." Jesus replied, "Unless I wash you, you won't belong to me." Simon Peter exclaimed, "Then wash my hands and my head as well, Lord, not just my feet." Jesus replied, "A person who has bathed all over does not need to wash except for the feet to be entirely clean. And you, disciples, you are clean, but not all of you." For Jesus knew who would betray him. That's what he meant when he said, "Not all of you are clean." After washing their feet, he put on his robe again and sat down and asked, "Do you understand what it is that I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done for you. I tell you the truth. Slaves are not greater than their master, nor is the messenger more important than the one who sends the message. Now that you know these things, God will bless you for doing them."
Amen.
So here we get to see Jesus spending some time. We didn't get to see a whole lot of Jesus and his actual family in the story. But we get a very, very close representation of the people that Jesus spent the most time with in what we have recorded as the Bible. So that's a great example for us to understand. And then we look a little bit further as Jesus says, he shows us this example. Hey, this is how you can love one another. So when you see this, it's a little bit cryptic because we don't celebrate the Passover, right? We sometimes, occasionally here at the church, we would celebrate the Seder dinner.
Sure.
And that's a family experience. If we do that again, I highly recommend that you guys do that. But within that, he takes an opportunity to love them. Now, we break that down a little bit. He was basically, he was doing something that would be expected in their culture for somebody to come into their house, and one of the things that you do is like give them ability to clean their feet as they walked with sandals all over their place. They didn't have paved roads. The animals walked on the road and did their business on the road. Yep. So you would at least have dirty feet, if not just like disgusting filth on your feet. And so as you can imagine, to recline for the evening, you might kind of want to get that off of your feet.
Yeah.
It was considered a very lowly thing. And so if you had a household slave or a servant, that would be expected of the like lowest person in the house to do that. And that's how a lot of people felt about it. So when Jesus gets up and he starts to do this, immediately the disciples are uncomfortable, like, wait a minute, you're like the president. You know, you're like the king. You're the big honcho. Like, this is really beneath you. Somebody else should be doing it. Yeah. And you can kind of feel this tension around the table. Like, who's the lowest among us? Yeah. You know, which one of us should we go ahead and say, like, you're definitely the one that should clean everybody's feet, right? Yeah. And Jesus flips that, and he goes around and he shows real love to them. Yeah. Now, what I love about this conversation is particularly the timing. We've talked throughout the last year where it feels like cancel culture has grown, partly because of social media and causing real alienation of, those people who don't agree with me. They're horrible, despicable people. Yeah, right. And Jesus is setting a little bit of a case here for, at least in this conversation, a precedence for Christians to serve one another in very humble, in ways that would blow your mind. Like, hey, you think that's beneath you? It's really not. I don't know if you have any experiences like that. And I was trying to think of a great example, and I think this sounds gross. I'm really not trying to be humorous, but the image is kind of humorous. So if you're sitting next to a close friend, just look at them, look at them in the eyes, okay? And say, "I love you enough to change your diaper." All right. Now you can see why I set it up that way, because that sounds really funny, and and truthfully, when we get really uncomfortable with things, we often laugh. It's one of the rules of comedy.
It's true.
If you say something really uncomfortable, people tend to laugh. Well, so the comedic value of it is there, but beyond that, it's recognizing that would be uncomfortable, and certainly it would. But if you really were in that situation where, say, your friend just was unable to serve themselves, would you be able to do that for a friend? It's gross. It's humiliating for you. It probably doesn't feel that great for them. And yet, this is the kind of thing that I think Jesus was saying, to what extreme, over-the-top level are you willing to go to love one another?
Yeah.
Now, we are really, really quick to say, like, as long as it's convenient for me, as long as I get some feel-good feelings back.
Yeah.
But like, if you're angry at me, or you believe differently than me, or it just gets a little bit too much of a commitment, or there's lots of stops in our willingness to say, oh yeah, I love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we don't press that far into it. I saw the other day, you guys, Cool Carl, right? Cool Carl, they're putting out this shirt and it says, "Love like Karen." So, are you familiar with the term Karen?
Yes, I am.
Good.
I
would expect a computer. Yeah. You have a friend named Karen?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I love this shirt. I would love to give it. Love like Karen. It's a great, because Karens get referenced all the time in our culture. Like, oh, look at this Karen. Oh, I can't believe it's like, it feels like 8 out of 10 YouTube videos are like, oh, look at this Karen. And to love like Karen is kind of a funny culture update, but to say, like, you were actually supposed to love those people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really, really so easy for us to just, no, you think different. What you think is beneath what I think. And so I'm not really willing to go there. I'm not really willing to love you.
Exactly. And sometimes I think it's like, loving that person, people view it as like showing support for their ideas that you don't agree with. Like if you were to treat that person nicely or something, then you would be like participating in their wrong ideas or something like that, which of course isn't true, but I think sometimes it's viewed that way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Do you have is there a time that stands out to your life where maybe that was that you had an opportunity to think, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do here, but I really, really don't want to do this.
Oh man, I feel like I don't know if I have like times when I like did the right thing, but I can think of a million times as a kid where like there was that kid. I'm like, I bet you that kid could really use a friend, and then I'm like, nah, I'll just stay over here where it's comfortable or something like that.
Yeah.
So many times where I feel like I've blown it, and then later realized like, oh, maybe I should have done the loving thing in that scenario.
I think it's right to separate some of our thinking between how we love people in the church and then how we love people who don't yet know Jesus. And maybe that's not great for us to do, to make that separation, but it seems a little bit easier. But I would say I recognize, even within our church, within people in this room, there can be like an incredible ability to be friendly towards somebody else in the room. But there's scenarios that come up where it's like, hey, man, I really, really, really love my small group. I love it how it is. But man, for somebody else to come and join that, like that could kind of threaten that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know that it's a direct, like, it's not that we don't want to love other people. It's a bit of like, I really enjoy what I have right here.
Yeah.
But what would happen if that's what we allowed it to do, to just stay there all the time? Like, I've got mine, you just go get yours somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
And that's difficult because I would say it's important for our small groups to have the ability to have deep, meaningful relationships. And you can't have deep, meaningful relationships when there's a million people in the room.
Attention.
Right?
Yeah,
but also, we have to have places for those people to go. Right?
Attention. Yeah.
Other times you see this kind of scenario at a camp, for say. So you've got people who know each other really, really well. And it's awesome. They've come to grow in their love of, hey, like, we're going to have camp and we're going to do this and we're in the same cabin. And we have a lot of guests that come to camps as well. And we can sometimes see those people who are standing on the side a little bit like, man, I wish that I'd been to a camp before so that I could feel the same way, or I wish
Yeah.
that I had friendships in the group
Yeah.
so that I could feel the same way.
Sure.
And sometimes we're drawn towards the relationships we already have.
Absolutely.
We can see this Sunday morning as well, right?
Yeah,
like people
for sure.
that know each other well, they're together, and then a guest comes and they're just standing over there, like, man,
Yeah.
I wish I had what they have.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, yeah.
The tension that I felt bringing up this message is like, okay, if we've talked about family, and then when you say love, like we talk about love all the time,
Yeah.
But I think you could probably spend your entire life diving down on like, what does it mean to love? There's so much depth to loving God and loving people. There's so much there. You could really just talk about that all the time. And it's maybe hard to process that, but I think there's a really, really great verse to help us expand our thinking on this a little bit. This is from 1 Corinthians 13. Now, those of you who have taken up the challenge to read your Bibles more and specifically to memorize Scripture, if you haven't already, 1 Corinthians 13 is a fantastic chapter to memorize if you really want to go all out. But we're going to start in verse 4. Here's a description that helps us break down what love is. In 13:4, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It is not irritable. It keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of stuff here. You could stop after every single one. Will you go back to the beginning of that, please? Love is patient. So we could just stop there. Okay. How does that come into play as a dad?
Oh man. Some of my kids are here, so I shouldn't probably elaborate too much. Let me talk about the kids who aren't here, who are probably watching this at home and can't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, look, sometimes kids, as well as just everybody, push that button again and again. They ask that question again. They do that thing that you've told them not to again. I mean, you can talk about kids, but I mean, so many other people, just everybody can be like this. And, thinking about just, doing the right thing in that moment rather than, I don't know, being like, how many times am I going to have to,
Yeah.
Patience, is, it keeps its cool in that moment. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
The thinking about the other time, the example that came to my mind, this actually surprised me as we were communicating this week. You respond very quickly to text messages.
When I'm sitting at my computer, I do.
Okay, right, so they come right in. There's other, I don't know if you have other people in your life, I know that I do. I'll text them and I will not hear from them for a while.
It's annoying.
Yeah. One of these people, he blows my mind. You guys know Michael Lubin. Micah is terrible at responding to text. It'll be days for sure.
Wow.
Now, I love that he's not tied to his phone.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right? I think that's really, really great. But it's like, Mike, I need an answer like right now, and the reality is most of the time that's not true.
Yeah.
It's just an inconvenience to me, right?
Yeah. Requires some patience.
Okay, so that's inside the church, but how easy is it to be really impatient with just the person who's, at the gas pump in front of you, and it feels like they're just, popping their knuckles or, like, come on, dude, I got to fill the gas tank. I got to get out of here.
Exactly.
Right? I don't know what other specific examples you can make, but to people that we don't know, it's easy to not be patient.
That's true.
And this is basically, saying to not be patient, that's a form of love. It's a way of loving people is to be patient.
Is to be patient, yeah. I thought you were going the other direction.
No.
But I'm like, no.
No? Okay. To be kind. As I was thinking about this in my own family, specifically my wife, I don't think there's, like, I would say there's times where I'm like, you know, I just want to be unloving right now. But I can be a little grumpy sometimes.
I don't believe a word of that.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I can be a little grumpy, and sometimes that comes out in my relationship with Anne Marie, where I think she part of her nature is she's an information gathering person, and so she'll ask a lot of questions, right? And I am kind of a bottom of the line quick answer thing, and again, I think I'm a good communicator, and so she'll ask one question, and I'll answer that question. She'll ask another question that to me sounds like the same question, but it's slightly different, or she's just trying to process, you know, really truly what I said. So bottom line, I can be a little bit unkind in some of those scenarios, and I have to go back and apologize.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's a bit unloving when that happens.
Yeah.
So kindness is another way. Love is not jealous or boastful. What do you think that means?
Oh man. Okay, let me tell you. I've got an example. I live out in the country, and I have a couple of acres that I try to take care of, and my tractor is a terrible tractor. It just, like, every time I'm working on it, like the steering goes out or just something, I'm just like, this tractor, and then my neighbor drives by and like his shiny John Deere, it's so amazing, and I envy that man with that tractor.
Tractor envy.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had it.
Okay.
So, probably shouldn't do that, I guess is what this is telling me.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, I wonder why that's unloving.
yeah, it's a good question. Well, I'm not thinking about his best, right? I'm not like, gosh, I'm glad. I mean, he's, you know, worked many years and is really using that tractor. Man, I'm so glad he has that. I'm just like, dang it, that guy.
Okay.
Stupid tractor. You know, I'm not thinking about him, his best. I'm thinking about me and my best.
Right.
And what it would be like for me to drive around that tractor. Has anybody ever wanted a tractor? No? Okay, just me. Sorry. Shut up. Shut up. I don't want to hear about it. See? That was unloving, right?
Very
there.
loving. Very loving. Very
I shouldn't
patient.
have said that to that girl. I don't know. But here we are.
It's bigger and tinier than yours.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. All right. I don't want to hear about it.
Is that Bella? Hi. Yeah, she's got a tractor.
I know. It's
Yeah.
way nicer than mine.
Like bigger than your
Dang it.
house. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Does not demand its own way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like me and the food. I talked about my pet peeve earlier. I got to have my food
A willingness.
the right way.
So
you know?
I mentioned this a lot. One of my favorite verses is look not only to your own interests.
Yeah.
So it's okay
Also
to do that,
interests. Yep.
but to look not just to that, but to the interests of others. I think this is a great way of saying, hey, you live in a family, and so you don't always get to have things the way that you want them. There's other people living here, and so there's this, like, I'm going to do what's best for you because that's how
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we have here? Not irritable. Yeah, we'll just ignore that one.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a misprint, probably. Keeps no records of wrong.
This is what we've been talking about, you know, with like families. Families, it's so easy to keep the record of the wrongs, right? Because,
Yeah.
you know, they've done it again and again and again and
Yes.
again, and they've pushed on that nerve
Yeah.
a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So-
Right. Especially if it's a conversation that you've had and you say, they ask for forgiveness and you say, I forgive you. And then, you know, it's like, but we've been through this 18
I'm not
times.
sure you were really sorry. 'cause
18
here
times,
we
yeah.
are again.
January 4th,
Yeah.
January 8th, you know.
If you look back at the log right here, which
Yeah,
I've carefully
yeah.
kept.
Like that's
You know.
a little unloving.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Rejoices whenever the truth wins out. What do you think that means?
Oh, man. Rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Man, you put me on the spot here.
This is good to
That's a
process.
tough one, yeah.
What's the version up here say? It has something to do with evil, doesn't?
My version I'm reading says, "Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth."
Yeah.
So
I think those are tied.
yeah, I think that's right.
So instead of aligning your interests or your family interests, your relationship interests to things that are bad for you,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Aligning your interests with things that are good for you. Now,
Yeah.
how do we measure that? That's a long conversation about. I think there's kind of this teeter-totter of influences in your life, and 0 is like it's not good for you or it's not bad for you. That's the fulcrum, right?
Yeah.
But then there's things that are God has said this is good for you, and you can move to that side, or you can move to it's actually bad for you. It's only slightly wrong, but it's wrong, or it's really really wrong.
Yeah.
And this has to do with movies and music,
Yeah.
relationships, how you talk, what you talk about, what you think about. All those things can be on that spectrum. Okay.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
I think this is encouraging you to be loving in your relationships. Don't even just be neutral, but be on the positive side of the spectrum. When you think about things, when you do things, when you say things, be on that truthful,
Yeah.
loving side.
Yeah. No, that sounds right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's good. What else? Last one. Love never gives up. Love never fails. That's why we did that
Amen.
song tonight. I know it's a little bit older, but this screams to me from this passage. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful. I love that. It's always hopeful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You're looking for the best version of where this is going to go.
Yeah.
Okay? And it endures through every circumstance. Now, I think it's helpful for us because you could sort of like, it's so easy for Jesus to say. I mean, what problems did he have? He's God.
Yeah.
But he knows he's about to die.
Right. That's right.
So it's not, I don't think we can just immediately discount like, well, he doesn't really know how tough my life is.
Yeah.
I don't think that many of us are about to go through excruciating pain
That's
for
right.
the next
That's
20,
right. That's true.
24 hours.
Unless you're about
and-
to do the Death Nut Challenge, which none of you are, because you've seen it done recently, and you shouldn't. So.
And honestly, to take it a step further, I think the physical side of that, the punishment for sin that Jesus took for us, that he took, it didn't have to be physical pain. It was purely just death, but he also did that physical side. He also did the relationship side. These guys that he talked to, they all left. And so he was suffering that alone. What comfort it might have been for him to have some people around, even like, you're in pain too. I think there's probably some camaraderie in that. But they were gone. He was going through that excruciating pain. And then death, and that's a real question of what it would have been like for Jesus to pay the penalty of sin for us, for it to be the ultimate sacrifice. So anyway, that all comes back to when he set this up, of this is what I want you to know, this final command, what I want you to know is to love one another, and this is what it means to love one another.
This is what it looks like.
Very, very, very awesome that we get this picture. So, in conclusion, as we move on, what are some applications? Well, number one, I'd say if you're in, I know there's a small group that's like memorizing scripture all over the place. You guys are killing it. That I would recommend that verse from 1 Corinthians 4. The whole chapter is really pretty awesome, but that's a really, really, really good one. The rest of you, if you're in a small group and you want to process, okay, let's talk about this love thing, and you definitely want to grow your love for one another within your group, but also maybe want to look past your group a little bit of like, okay, we're doing okay at this level of loving one another, but how can we love some other small groups, some other people in the church, some people who are just like, they're just outside of our circle. How can we do that? Instead of like, hey, let's make up some gift packages and drop them off to each person in the group. Like, let's pick a random person and show some love for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Think of some creative ways to be loving outside of your group. If you're not yet in a small group, please pray for that. We're trying so hard to get some more small group leaders and get you guys in the group, but pray for that. And I think with that, we're going to leave it there for the night. Any final thoughts about
Oh man,
love and your family?
Yeah, man, I'm thinking about love, and oftentimes, this list that he's talking about, and the way that Jesus demonstrated love is oftentimes, love isn't like the softball stuff. Like I did this thing that I was gonna do anyway, and it was super easy for me to do. Generally, the most loving things are. Oftentimes it's stuff that makes you a little uncomfortable. That's how it is with me. Like those blown opportunities I was talking about earlier. Would have made me uncomfortable to walk across the room and, talk to that person that I didn't know, and, or just, serve one of your siblings, or be patient when you don't want to. Most of the time, love in this way, and the way that Jesus demonstrates it is not just like a super easy sort of a thing. It's like, often
Beyond
pushes
that.
you out.
Yeah,
of your
that's exactly
comfort
what I
zone.
meant by
Yeah.
we can surface level like, well, it's
Yeah.
easy to, of course I love when it's easy.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But if you're asking me to change my friend's diaper, that's like a bit too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Do you need that? Is that why you brought that up?
No,
'Cause we could
I'm wondering
yeah,
if you'll ask.
we could
Yeah, maybe afterwards.
just after this.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for coming tonight. Let's pray. God, we thank you that you have taught us what it means to love, and I'm grateful that we have this place that we can come and we can sing and we can laugh at how bad technology can be. We can watch some old dudes eat hot food and make fools of themselves. We can talk about things from your word. God, my prayer is that you would teach us how to love you in a deeper way. And we say that a lot, God, and I'm praying for that. I'm praying that you would make us a group that would love you more and more and more. That we would search for you in the Bible. We would want to know more about your son Jesus and how to follow in his footsteps. And not just out of an obligation, but because we really, really love you. And I just pray that you'd grow that. I pray that you would make this a place where we loved each other, but also as new people would come in, that we would be really good at loving them too. Because you have loved us so completely, so fully, that we would just be overflowing with that. And that's how we would be recognized as your followers, as people who were good at love. God, we pray these things in Jesus' name. And everybody said, amen.
Amen.